Hello everybody, it is Ghost Hunter 385. I am back with more Kirby, another topic, and more commentary for everyone. A live mall staff sign, interesting, huh? Well, anyway everybody, let's get into today's topic, and today's topic is help. Now, we can talk about self-help in another video, but that's not what this one's about. This one is about professional help. Now, I can already sit here, some people saying, Ghost Hunter, I can't afford professional help. Well, check with your local county, government, whatever they have. See if you qualify for anything. You never know sometimes if you can get help or not. Now, on a side note after that, not a side note, but after that, my bad. Very wrong phrase of turn there. But anyway, the point is get help when you need it. Now, let's start with, the easiest part here. If you're having medical issues and it's, wherever, your insides, your stomach, your intestines, whatever that may be, whatever the issue may be, go to your general practitioner and get a referral to a specialist. Now, why do I say go see a specialist? The straightforward answer here is this, is a general practitioner is great for the quote-unquote general stuff here. Fever's this, fever's that. But, if you really need help with something specific, like I said earlier, your stomach, your intestines, whatever that may be, again, whatever that may be, go get a recommendation to see a specialist. Why do I say that? Because it's simple. A general practitioner, I'm repeating myself. Anyways, I'm going to get off that. But go see a specialist in whatever you may need because they've been trained to actually do that job. But anyway, that's just medical side of things. Now, let's talk therapy side of things. Yes, professional therapy. Now, there are going to be those who basically sit there and say that, therapy is useless, doesn't help. Well, the thing you have to remember is that even in therapists, there are those who specialize in certain things and certain fields. Now, there's psychoanalysts and others that do all kinds of work. But the point here is that, in a nutshell, if you have issues with trauma, whatever that may be, you need to see if you've actually properly dealt with it in a healthy way, which in our modern society is very, very hard and very, very difficult, basically, if you think about it. Is it a little better since when therapy was actually properly done? Sure. Difference. But the point is that it doesn't hurt to seek out a therapist, especially if you need it. Now, there are therapists who specialize in different things, and, you need to consider your options very carefully in terms of regards. Now, here's a example. You go into a therapist office, you explain your issues, and they're like, okay, well, I think this, and this, but you need to get over it. Or if you really have some bad family issues, you need to reconnect with your family for your own sake, to just let things go and reconnect, basically. I will sit here and say that on a certain level, that therapist is correct. But if they're just going to go with the whole forgive and forget thing, unless there's actually a really, really good reason for it, I don't suggest you go back to this specific therapist. Why? Because they're not addressing the crux of your issue. Now, I can already sit here, some people saying, well, Ghost Hunter, you sound like a therapist. And are you one? The answer to that is no. I thought about a degree in psychology, but the degree is so useless unless you go become a therapist or anything of the sort, that, it's not worth it in a nutshell. Now, on the flip side of that, you need to find a good therapist. Now, what is a good therapist? A therapist who actually understands your issues, who will work with you, and who will actually help you walk you through your issues. It's pretty straightforward. They need to be at least somewhat empathetic to you and how you feel, your situation. Basically, they need to earn your trust so that way you can let them in, so that way they can help you, if you understand what I mean. Now, I have been in therapy for my own issues, and I've had some luck with certain things, not with other things. But the point is, basically, is get the professional help that suits you best. And if you meet a bad, quote-unquote, professional, then do yourself a favor and don't see that therapist again. And also, if they're doing a really terrible job, don't be afraid to go to the licensing board and write and file a complaint. Why? Because bad therapists give therapists who actually give a darn about people a bad name. Now, when I say that, I do literally mean that. I have an example from my wife's former stepfather. Basically, he was dating a woman before he met my wife's mother. And, he thought this woman was constantly cheating on him. And, he couldn't really prove it because almost every therapist, every relationship therapist, every relationship counselor, however you want to phrase that, basically sat there and told him that it's all his fault. He's the man, and everything that a man does is wrong, and it's all your fault that your relationship is falling apart. Now, he was just like, these people aren't helping. What's the point? Why am I paying money to see these people who who will not help me, not address the issues that I'm dealing with, and the issues that this person's dealing with? And he said he went through 2 or 3, I think. But I'm going to downplay this a little bit because I don't know, because he told me the story. It's been a few years, and also this man is not a pathological liar, but he is a known liar. And I don't know 100% sure if this whole story is true, but I'm going to tell you anyway. But basically, the last therapist they saw, they go in, do the session. He kind of gets the whole blame game with the way his ex-girlfriend said things. And he's like, okay, I don't think you're much help. But as he was leaving, the therapist came out and said, hey, I think you need to see a different therapist. And he's like, why? Well, the therapist basically said, I don't think she understands that she's lying. And he kind of gave him the, what are you talking about look. And he just explained that sometimes the way people react to trauma causes them to lie constantly, or it causes them not to admit the issue. Dang it, why do I keep falling? Anyway. So he recommended that he take the girlfriend to a hypnotherapist to see if, while under suggestion, what was really going on with her, because her actions did not make sense to him. That the way she's acting is like she swears up and down she's telling the truth, but something just doesn't quite add up for everything. So he found basically what amounted to a hypnotherapist, and she goes under the suggestion, and he starts asking questions. Did you lie about this? Yes. Immediately, no. Now, we can all sit here and argue about everything, But the point is that, it's just, she's answering yes to questions, and it's immediately no to questions. And, the thing that was actually really sad, as it turns out, this woman was an abuse victim of the S word variety here, folks. And because she was a victim of the S word variety, she conflated S with love, basically. And that when she, quote unquote, loved somebody, she would have S with them, including, as he suspects, her own child. Now, that's a really drastic example of a story there. And, it's, we can sit here and say, well, how do we know he didn't make it up? And you're right, we don't know. But, the thing we have to account for here is truth is stranger than fiction. And if truth is stranger than fiction, well, who the heck knows what really will happen. And, also on the side note of that, for men here, specifically for men, if you go to a therapist and she just blames, your life on you because you're a man, do yourself a darn favor. Immediately no longer see that therapist and just go file a board complaint, basically. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I will see everybody in the next video.